Hello, everyone, and welcome to Big League Dreaming, the podcast, a show about baseball, dreams, and family. If you're new to the podcast or a longtime listener, I think you know by now it's a dad and his three sons talking about the game they love. And you might also know that it's not typical that we have all three on at the same time, but we do have two of the three. Let's check in with the fellas. Son number one, he's based in Charlotte, North Carolina. He works a little bit for the AAA baseball team as well there, and is a big Mariners fan. Zak Gonzalez. Zak, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's September 12th and the Mariners are in first place, so I am very happy.
I meant to check the standings before I hit record because I knew that they had been on a little hot streak. We'll talk more about the Mariners. In fact, that's what we're going to talk about today is just this final stretch of the MLB season as we get ready for postseason time. And I think all three of our teams, maybe all four of our teams will be in postseason play. But let's introduce son number two here. He's based in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He is our resident New York Mets fan. We actually got to see some games together this fall. It's Ty Gonzalez. How you doing, Ty?
I'm doing pretty good. Also the Mets aren't doing very good, so a little bad too, but we got 15 days left in the MLB season, so I'm excited to see how some of these playoff races shape up.
Yeah, that should be really fun to watch down the stretch. Son number three is Zane Gonzalez. He's based in South Bend, Indiana, and he's our Red Sox fan. And if you know a little bit about me, I'm a huge Detroit Tigers fan, and it's been a heck of a ride since about last year at this time, right, Zach? I mean, last year at this time, the Tigers were the hottest team in baseball, and no one could think they would keep it up. We talked on this podcast like they would have to go on an amazing win streak to make the postseason, and they've been so bad over the years. They surprised and shocked everyone that they actually put together that incredible run and made the playoffs. You were shocked. We were all shocked at how well the team played down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've carried it over to 2025, so credit to them. They've kind of been in the driver's seat the entire season this year. It's been, the Tigers, and then who else? Who else from the American League is going to step up? But the Tigers have been kind of that front runner the entire season, which is really incredible to think about.
My friend Jeff Seidel from the Detroit Free Press has a story online today. You can check it out, freep.com. Just search for their Tigers coverage. But he says the Tigers have been in first place in 2025, 171 days. That's just that's just hard to believe. Even though they tanked in July against your Mariners, Zach, they had a terrible July, and those games were brutal to watch. They've been able to weather it. They had a big rebound in August, and now they seem to be they're coming off of a series win against the Yankees in New York. In fact, the team was Jeff mentions in his column today that it felt like a playoff games. Those games at in New York against the Yankees felt like playoff games. And Ty, I know you can relate to that. But when you're in New York, it's always a playoff atmosphere, right?
Yeah, always packed in there, loud. Fans are booing for uh, the opposing team and their team too. I mean, it's crazy there.
Only in New York,
Yep.
you're gonna boost someone that's
You
over
go.
four.
Yep. 0 for 2. Your third at bat, you're getting booed.
Well, Zach, you mentioned it earlier as in the intro of the show that your Mariners they were an interesting team because they were winning early in the year. Then they went on a little things just didn't work out. The pitching kind of didn't. Well, the hitting wasn't there. Julio finally got hot again, and now they've clawed their way back to respectability. The whole story for the Mariners early in the year was your catcher Cal Raleigh. Everyone was just like in awe of what he was doing at the All-Star time. But the team is kind of rebounding a little bit. What's made the rebound here in mid-September?
Yeah, I got a funny story of the specific reason on what's going on right now in September for the Mariners. So, Ty, I don't know if you know this story yet, but last week the Mariners went to Tampa. They got swept by the Rays. They had an off day on Thursday. They go to Atlanta. They have a team meeting. We got to turn this thing around. We're losing ground in the playoffs. There's 3 teams right behind us for that final wild card spot, and they lose game 1 to Atlanta. The whole team is just down, bad body language. They're asked the reporters are asking the guys in the clubhouse what's going on. Oh, we're trying to turn this thing around, this and that. And a Mariner fan late Friday night, goes on to Etsy and finds an Etsy witch and purchases a spell to be cast to uncurse the Mariners and to help them win the World Series. That was late Friday night. Saturday comes and the Mariners crush the Braves 10-2, completely different team. And then Sunday, they dominate the Braves 18-2, and they score 28 runs in 2 days. They fly back to Seattle to play the Cardinals. They're down early, and they come back and win the game Monday night. Tuesday, they play the Cardinals. They're down early. They come back, and they win Tuesday night. Wednesday, they're down early to the Cardinals. Little Leo Rivas, who's had one home run his whole career, hits a walk-off 2-run home run in the 13th inning. The Mariners win again. Last night, Thursday night, they're playing the Angels, and it goes to extra innings again. Harry Ford comes up to bat, making his third plate appearance, his first at bat in Seattle, and he hits a walk-off sac fly. The Mariners have won 6 games in a row, and they are 6-0 ever since the Etsy witch has arrived.
Wow. So basically, what you're saying is the Etsy witch is this year's Grimace for the Mets last year.
Yes, fans are wearing like the wizard hats in the stands. It's a whole thing right now.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Sometimes it takes something goofy like that, right? You're right, Ty, about Grimace from last year, the Etsy witch. We should tell a quick little baseball story from our family. We had something similar happen, where where our little league baseball team wasn't doing very well back when I was coaching, and little Ty walks home from school, walks in the door, and says, "Dad, look what I found." I'm like, why do you have a log in your hand? He's like, "It said free, and I just picked it up off the pile of wood there, and I brought him home." I'm like, "You brought home a log?" You're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" Wait a minute, what? You have a face on the log? What? Yeah, his name's Bob. And I'm like, "You picked up a log, you drew a face on him, and you call him Bob?" "Yeah." And then you carry it one step further. He's coming to our baseball game tonight because he's going to be our rally log for us. Sure enough, you had that thing in the dugout. Everyone was rallied around it. Bob, Bob. I don't even know if it was a walk-off or what, but I remember you guys on the field carrying the log around. Go, Bob, 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 Bob.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
I remember
Time?
after the game. Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember. Well, I remember walking home from school and there was just a giant pile of wood, and it just said free wood. I'm like, yeah, why not? But I remember after the game, I think whoever we played, it was like we crushed them. And after the game, we all ran around the bases with the log. Everyone ran around all the bases. Celebratory.
So it works for any levels, whether Little League or the MLB. Sometimes you have to have something to rally around. But Zach, what is it outside of the Etsy witch? I mean, the team is just hitting better. I mean, you score 18 runs or 28 runs in 2 days. That's a lot of runs.
Yeah, the offense has turned around, and the bullpen has really been solid. I mean, during these 6 games, it's not like they've had 6 starts where the starting pitcher is going 6-7 shutout innings. Like Kirby struggled in his outing, Logan Gilbert struggled in his outing. Bryce Miller last night, he had 11 strikeouts, his career high, but he only threw 5 2/3 and was kind of laboring there. 12 innings and then 13 innings the game before. You have to have clutch big time outs from your bullpen. And the bullpen has stepped up in a big way. And that's something that is a vital piece to be able to win in the postseason, is to have those guys that you can depend on to go get those big strikeouts. Because yes, you need the offense, you need a strong start from your starting pitcher. But if you don't have guys to throw the 7th, 8th, and 9th, then it's not a complete game.
You're absolutely right. I mean, you have to have that bullpen rock solid heading into the playoffs. Sorry, guys, a little loud here. I'm at a coffee shop, so I apologize for that. Ty, what's up? What's up there with your Mets? How are they doing?
They're struggling with their pitching really badly. I think they've lost the last 6 or 7 games. They got swept by Cincinnati, I believe, and I think they just got swept by the Phillies. I think it was a 4-game series. But they're losing games where they're scoring 8, 9 runs, and they're losing those games like 11-9, and their pitching's just not holding up, and their bullpen too. I can't think of his name right now. Maybe one of you guys can help me out. Who did they get at the trade deadline? St. Louis closer. What's his name?
Ryan Helsley.
Yeah. So like he was amazing for the Cardinals. He comes to New York and he's just been bad. Like he's just not like it seems like every time he goes out there, he's just giving up tons of runs, which is crazy because he was like one of the best closers in baseball, it seemed like, for the Cardinals. So that move, he's just been having a rough start in New York, and it's really been the pitching's been bad. You shouldn't be losing games when you're scoring 9, 10 runs a game. And they're scoring these types of runs almost every game too. They're always scoring runs. Like even that Tigers game we went to, Dad, and they had whatever it was, 8 runs. Like we're still sitting there in the 8th and 9th, kind of worried if they're gonna win. Or like, you need more runs. You need to get at least 12 or 13 runs. So if you're doing that, you're struggling pitching wise.
They'll make the playoffs, all right. I mean, they're still in pretty good spot to make the wild card, right?
It's pretty close. They're like the last team in the wild card right now. If it ended today, they would make it, but I think Cincinnati is like with them sweeping them, they're right behind them. So it's gonna be they really need to win these next 2 weeks, a lot of games, because they're right on the fence right now at this point, which is crazy because you know, first 4 months of the season they were in first place pretty much the whole season for the most part, and now they're fighting for the wild card.
It looks like Cincinnati and San Francisco are both tied with the same record, 1.5 games back of New York Mets for the third wild card spot.
Yeah, so it's really close. It's questionable.
Zach, why don't you run down the American League wild card?
Yeah, so the American League, the Yankees have the first wild card spot, 81-65. Red Sox have the second spot, 81-66. And then since the Mariners and Houston are tied for the same record, 79-68, they're both tied for first for the West. So they're also both tied for that third wild card spot. So they're 79-68, and then the next couple teams on the outside looking in, Texas 2 games back, Cleveland 3.5 games back, Kansas City 5 games back.
Yeah, the Tigers have at one time, it was kind of scary. I think they got down to 4 or 5 games after being up by after being up by a lot of games in early July. But it looks like they've distanced themselves. I don't know if Cleveland has what it takes to make it. It just seems it's going to be between Seattle, Houston, and Texas for that third wild card, whatever happens there. There are only 15 games left. Is that right, guys?
Yep.
Just
There's
about.
only 15 days left in the regular season. I think the last day of the regular season's Sunday, September 28th. So yep, we got 15 days left. Unless we get will they still do the 163 games, or they don't do that anymore, right? Like if someone's tied.
No, they don't do that anymore. They go to tiebreakers with the new wild card, adding that team. There's just not that extra day to be able to sort that out.
Gotcha. So yeah, 15 days left then officially.
Okay, guys. Well, give me some thoughts down the stretch here. Zach, let's go with the National League. Do you think we're going to end up where we're at in the National League? It looks like it is Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and the Dodgers are our 3 leaders right now. Could you hear my phone ringing over here? Looks like Milwaukee, Philadelphia, the Dodgers, Cubs, and Padres have a pretty good handle on the wild card. I guess the only thing, right, Zach, is this Mets, Cincinnati, San Francisco possibility, right?
Right. I just don't see the Mets continuing to lose like this. I feel like the way that the 6 teams that you have in the National League right now that would make the playoffs will be your 6 teams. I feel like it's unlikely for Cincinnati or San Francisco to continue to win and the Mets to continue to lose. So I feel like the American League could a little more things could happen as far as the American League goes, but the National League is pretty solidified.
Yeah, I think that's how we have felt all season long, especially towards the second half of the season. Ty, you got to feel good about that. I mean, really, Cincinnati and San Francisco had their chances. Cincinnati, multiple chances to get in this thing and overtake the Mets. They're just not doing it. Are you confident it's going to hold up this way?
I hope so. I think it will though, because I think the Mets have their last series, I believe, is against. Well, I don't know, because I say their last series is against Miami, but before they played Detroit, I'm pretty sure they got swept by Miami. So I don't know. They're very on, like, just very down right now. So if they don't win these next couple games this weekend, I don't know if they do make it. They're looking rough. I hope they make it.
Spoken like a true Mets fan. They're looking rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And those Mets fans. I mean, I tell you, we went to that second game in at Comerica when we lost again, and there were fans everywhere at Comerica for the Mets, just trying to get into it, and it is rough when you're on a losing end really quick. Let's go to the American League. Toronto, Detroit, and like, as you said, Zach, Houston, Seattle tied for that American League West. And then when the wild card, you've got New York and Boston, as you said, pretty much in the lead there, with those teams we mentioned, Texas, Cleveland, and outside of maybe Kansas City if they get hot, having a chance at that last wild card. How do you see it ending up, Zach?
Yeah, the Rangers have just been crazy hot lately, and I can't figure out how because they lost their ace, Nathan Eovaldi, for the whole season. Kyle Seager's hurt right now. Adolis Garcia's hurt right now. They have some other players hurt. Um, I'm not sure how they're continuing to win. So I am scared of the Rangers, but I'm also not scared of the Rangers because without those big pieces that, like their foundational pieces to their team, it's going to be very difficult for them to sustain this. Um, Cleveland's hanging in there. I feel like we've been really scoreboard watching Kansas City as well because we were a little afraid of them coming up, but they've definitely fallen off. But like Ty said, there's 2 weeks left, which doesn't feel like a lot of time. But when these teams are only a couple games back, then 15 games is plenty of time to be able to jumble things up. Um, I I just don't see. I hope Texas, Cleveland, Kansas City can stay on the outside looking in. And hopefully, this is the year that the Mariners can win their first division title since 2001.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap things up here because it looks like it's a book club or something going on over here at the coffee shop. So, Ty, why don't you run down for folks more information about the show, Big League Dreaming, the podcast, and also Zach. Before he does that, though, any final thing you want to say about these last 15 games? Do the Mets bring Grimace 2.0 and salvage the season? Does the Etsy Witch live on into the postseason? There's a lot to think about.
A fun thing that I thought about is that there will be a World Series game played on Halloween. Um, so how awesome would it be for the Etsy Witch to arrive for the Mariners on Halloween on your birthday, Dad? So that'd be super cool. The last series the Mariners have is at home against the Dodgers that final weekend. That's going to be a very tough series. Hopefully they don't need to win like 2 or all 3 games to get in the postseason. But the final day of the season, like Ty said, on Sunday the 28th, all of the first pitches will be at 3:10 p.m. Eastern. Everybody will be playing at the same time. It's going to be super fun.
Yep. So that concludes our episode this week, everyone. Thanks for listening. You can listen to us every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Big League Dreaming the Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, here on YouTube. Give us a subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate it. And Coming up next week, maybe we'll talk about another rally thing. Dad, you forgot to mention, not only do we have Bob the Log, but we had Youngie the Coin. So maybe we need to invite back some players.
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah, I remember Youngie the Coin. We'll save that for next week's show. All right, Ty, take us out.